He was in the courtroom smirking, like he owned the place. While families wept and struggled to breathe through their grief, he laughed again and again. But behind that eerie grin was a teenager who had committed two of the most senseless and cold-hearted crimes the Midwest had ever seen. This is the chilling story of Michael Swanson, a boy who wanted to be feared, but ended up being remembered for the horror he left behind. Michael Swanson was just 17 years old when he decided he wanted to play the role of a tough guy. Inspired by movies, music, and a fascination with outlaws, he made a chilling decision. He would take a car, a gun, and travel across state lines to commit crimes. Not for money, not for survival, but for attention, thrill, and control. In November 2010, Swanson left his home in Minnesota, stole his mother's car, and took a gun with him. He crossed into Iowa, not just to escape, but to make a name for himself. His plan wasn't about stealing money. It was about creating fear and chaos, no matter the cost. His first stop was a gas station in Algona, Iowa. The clerk on duty was 47-year-old Vicki Bowman Hall, a well-known, well-loved mother, wife, and friend. Witnesses described Swanson walking into the store with his hood up and a chilling, emotionless look in his eyes, like someone on a mission. He demanded money, but before Vicki could even react, he turned violent. Her life was tragically cut short in an instant. Just hours later, in Humboldt, Iowa, Swanson repeated the exact same crime. This time, the victim was 61-year-old Sheila Myers. She was also working the night shift at a small convenience store. And just like before, he demanded cash, then turned aggressive, leaving Sheila tragically unresponsive moments later. What made the case even more disturbing was Swanson's later admission. He had no reason to harm either woman. He said they were cooperating, but he went through with it anyway, simply because he wanted to. Michael Swanson's crime spree didn't last long. After stopping to eat at a McDonald's in southern Minnesota, he was arrested. He didn't run. He didn't resist. In fact, he told officers exactly what he had done, like a kid recounting his day at school. He casually listed the events. No fear, no remorse. What stunned authorities most wasn't just the crime, it was how he acted afterward. During interviews, Swanson laughed. He smiled while recounting what he had done.
I robbed some store.
What kind of gun did you have?
A Beretta, something.
Okay. Where'd you get that gun?
A cabin.
In a cabin up in northern Minnesota?
Yeah.
Okay. You're just going to keep heading south?
Yeah. So, I ended up in some other town. I don't know what town it was. I think this one was the Come and Go.
Come and Go? Okay. Then tell me about that.
The clerk was the only person there. So with the mask on, the coat on, I went in there.
Okay.
And I walked in with the gun in the bag, and I took it out, and I pointed at her. I put the bag on the table. That's what I did. I don't remember what I said, but she put the money in the bag. And she said, I don't remember. Then I shot her, and I left. Just walked out.
Just walked out? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You knew you were going to shoot her?
Yeah.
Okay. At what point did you make up your mind that you were going to shoot her?
Just thinking, like, I don't know. It's like tying up loose ends. I don't know.
Tying up loose ends?
It's like, so then she can call the police. She can, like, point me out.
Okay. She won't be able to identify you, would she, if you shot her? Okay. So when you were still sitting in the car, did you know that you were going to shoot?
Yeah.
When you left the car, you knew you were going to shoot her? I'm always curious, how did it feel when you pulled the trigger? I mean, some people say that, it feels powerful or that it's kind of a rush, or what did you feel when you pulled the trigger?
I felt powerful, but, like, I don't know, I just didn't really care.
Didn't care, okay. How else did you feel?
It had no effect on me. I just didn't even care. I don't know, I just felt like my adrenaline was pumping. I felt good.
Okay. How do you feel now? Do you feel the same, or has it changed a little bit?
Not really.
Not really?
I don't know. I just feel like, sometimes people get shot.
And where did you shoot?
Around the body?
Yeah.
In the face.
In the face? Okay. Why the face? Did you do that on purpose?
Well, I don't know. It just seems like it's final.
It was final? Okay. You knew for a fact that she'd be dead if you shot her in the face?
More than likely.
Okay. Okay. And why did you want her to be dead as opposed to just be injured?
If I was just going to shoot to injure her, why would I shoot her at all? I don't know.
How do you feel right now?
About what? Like,
Do you feel manic right now, or do you feel pretty normal?
I feel normal. I just feel like I need to get some sleep.
Okay.
At one point, he asked detectives if the news was covering his story, eager to see himself on TV. He wanted to be famous, and in court, it got worse. During his trial, Swanson didn't show sadness. He didn't apologize. Instead, he chuckled, smirked, and leaned back in his chair like he was watching a movie. Reporters, jurors, and victims' families were stunned. Vicky Bowman-Hall's husband said, "He sat there grinning like it was a joke, like her life didn't matter. That laugh, that grin, I'll never forget it." Sheila Meyer's daughter tearfully testified, calling her mother her best friend. She said seeing Swanson smile as her family suffered felt like being attacked all over again. And still, through it all, Swanson never once said sorry.
How could you do what you did to my mom and my family? I want to know if you're even sorry. Are you sorry for what you did? My mom was not only completely 100% innocent, but she was also a defenseless woman when you came in with that gun. You said you did it for cigarettes and money and so no one could identify you, but I think that's a lie. You did it, as you later said on, that it was so you could feel powerful. How could killing a defenseless woman and an outright execution be powerful or fair? My mom did nothing to you.
There was no mystery in this case. Swanson had confessed. The security footage and witness testimony was clear. The weapon was found. The only question was, would he be sentenced as a juvenile or as an adult? The court made it clear. Michael Swanson would be tried and sentenced as an adult for both acts.
I'll tell you what I think. It's cold-blooded murder. Cold-blooded murder, young man.
As Michael Swanson was sentenced, he grinned, smiled, and laughed. But when he came into the courtroom, he appeared emotionless as he walked past Sheila Meyer's family, the woman he murdered. Meyer's husband of 37 years broke down in tears as the prosecutor read his statement.
When I watch TV at night, it's extremely lonely because there's no one to talk to, no one to go to bed with, and no one to wake up with in the morning. And we can't forget that this is about Sheila Myers, not about the system failing Michael Swanson, and not about how something must be wrong with Michael Swanson.
The state asked that Swanson's robbery count run consecutive to his life sentence for first-degree murder. 18-year-old Swanson chose not to speak, but his attorney said the murder was avoidable.
You've got a doctor who puts in his report that without antipsychotic medication, he's going to rob people, he's going to use weapons and commit violent acts, yet they let him out without any kind of medication. I mean, that to me is the failure of the system in this case.
The judge called the case sad and senseless.
Cold-blooded murder, young man. And your counsel wants us to believe that you lack the capacity, that you were insane. And I don't buy into that. You are dangerous. You are unpredictable. And there is no place for you in an open, law-abiding society. Prison for the rest of your life is the only alternative. And the court intends to follow through.
As he left the courtroom, Swanson smiled once again. Meyer's daughter said it was still hard to see.
I think he just have a heart and soul, actually. There's nothing there. There's just emptiness, really.
Yeah. Robin at one point made a comment that he was a shell of a boy. Just a shell. There's nothing inside.
He said, "I have always been fascinated by death and violence. And it was something that I wanted to do." From what Mr. Swanson told me his perspective was, people are going to die. What difference does it make whether they die when they're 77 or whether he shoots them? It's just not a big deal. He could not understand why everybody was getting so upset about this whole situation. He's happy as a clam. He's killed somebody. He's getting all this attention. we're all here. It's a dream come true.
He received 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. That means 2 full life terms, back to back. No chance of getting out, ever. Even as the verdict was read, Swanson did something no one expected. He laughed, again, as if none of it mattered, as if the lives he stole were part of a game.
Verdict number 1, we find the defendant guilty in the first degree, signed foreperson. In the District Court for Humboldt County, State of Iowa, plaintiff versus Michael Richard Swanson, defendant, number FECR 008863, verdict form, count 2. The jury has returned the following verdict. Verdict form number 1, we find the defendant guilty, signed foreperson. Have I accurately portrayed your verdict, sir? Yes. And do the rest of you agree with that representation? Yes. Very well.
Years later, the pain still echoes. Both towns, Algona and Humboldt, remember that November night. They remember the fear. They remember the funerals. They remember the smiles of the women who once served coffee, rang up groceries, and greeted everyone with kindness. Michael Swanson's name is remembered too, but not for the reasons he wanted. He is not feared. He is not respected. He is a reminder of how dangerous it can be when someone chooses violence just to feel important. One prosecutor said it best. He wanted to be a gangster. He wanted to be tough. But in the end, all he left behind was pain and a legacy of cruelty. Michael Swanson's story isn't just about crime. It's about how someone so young can go so dark, so fast, and how the justice system had to step in with full force. His laughter will haunt many, but the strength of the families left behind, their courage to speak out, to keep going, that is the real story here. If this story moved you, share it. Let it remind us all how precious life is and how we must never take it for granted. Support the channel by watching the next video on your screen.